Hello everybody, it is back, the Vanguard Fitness Hour, and I am definitely happy to be back in this place. I missed the forum, I missed the format, I missed the opportunity to share fitness information with you that is going to help you to become and maintain yourself in an optimal manner. So it's all about health, it's all about fitness, it's all about wellness, it's all about you becoming and remaining the best version of yourself possible. So again, I am very happy to be back to share some new fitness information with you. As always, we're going to go ahead and get started right away because I've got 20 pounds of fitness information, motivation, and inspiration to stuff into a 10-pound bag. So we're going to get rolling right now. First of all, the big question that I've been presented with quite a bit lately, and that is, what was the reason for the hiatus, the layoff? It's been a 4-month drought. So I did want to take some time to address that. And in an effort to remain as transparent as always, I wanted to reveal some of those details with you. There have been several. Among them, and probably the most primary and significant one, was the fact that I have a relative, a very close relative, in fact, my older sister, who is battling some significant health concerns. And to go through that with her and the effect that it's had on the family, it's very traumatic, and it takes a lot of time to deal with that and to digest certain things and to make some accommodations and just get used to the fact that life is finite, and when you have it in your face like that, it really forces you to ascertain exactly what's important and what we need to do to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to maintain these miraculous instruments that God has given us, the human body. So that has taken a significant toll on me and the family as well. But we're working through it. My sister is tough. She's a trooper, and she's a fighter. So I know that she's going to come across and come through this with flying colors. But as of right now, it is quite a bit of a challenge. So that took away a lot of focus. I just did not have the time and focus that I normally like to pour into the show to make that available. So if anything was going to detract me from bringing to you the best content possible, I just didn't think that it was in my best interest to do so. So having gone through that, that was one of the major changes and adjustments. The other time, I wanted to actually focus on building content, coming up with new topics, new guests, new features, so that the program that is brought to you is entertaining, it's informative, it's something that you want to share with other people, it's something that you're going to benefit from. So it really helped me to take some time to put some things together. So now I've got a nice slate of shows and episodes that are going to be filled with a lot of information that I know are going to benefit you and all those that you might share that information with. So that was item number 2. Item number 3, I've been placing a lot of focus on a new media format, and I'm going to be revealing more information about that coming soon, but it's an opportunity to reach a much broader range of individuals, and I'm not just talking about locally or even nationally. It's a very good opportunity, and I'm spending a lot of time putting that together and getting ready to roll that out. But I can assure you that as soon as everything is in the works and it's ready to roll out, you're going to be the first to know. So I'm going to be happy to share that with you. Next up, in terms of what's been new, June 16th. Now, I know that was a while ago, but that was actually the anniversary of my very first national competition win. A lot of you that know me know that I competed as an amateur bodybuilder for several years, and this was actually it's pretty worn. Hopefully you can't see how faded it is now, but this is actually the shirt that I won during that first fitness competition. And it was grueling, but it was very enjoyable. It really fueled my love for fitness, for wellness, for challenging myself, for doing whatever it took to be the best at what it was that I was doing at the time. So I'd gone through this period of time where I was doing a lot of these smaller events, throughout Illinois, and I was winning. So what happens is when you win as an amateur a certain amount of competitions, and you come in first, you basically win what's called an overall title. So that basically means you were the best in the entire show. So that was an award in and of itself. So once you qualify for that, then you are able to go out and you can compete on the national circuit. So if you win a national event, then you can actually become certified as a professional bodybuilder, which was really a goal for me. It was more or less, I was just doing it for fun, for kicks. I like winning trophies. That was about it. So I qualified to do this national show. Now, I'm all full of myself, right? So I've been killing on these local shows. I've been coming in first place, winning all these different awards at these shows, best abs, best poser, all that sort of thing. So I come in, to this national show just knowing I'm just going to tear it up. I'm ready to go. Well, national shows, quite a bit different than a local show. So and I found that out the hard way. First of all the shows that I've been doing, that I've been winning, they were tested shows, meaning that you could not have any steroids in your body. They test for performance-enhancing drugs. You have to do lie detector tests, urinalysis, all that sort of thing in order to compete. So that was fine for me because I've always been a natural athlete. So with that, once I qualified for that and moved on to the next stage, which was the national level show, whole different ball game. Non-tested, first of all. So that basically meant that anything goes. So I'm competing with guys that have all kinds of stuff flowing through their system. I mean, and they look rock hard. They're huge, bulging biceps and that sort of thing. Things that I never did. So first, I was outclassed as far as that goes. And then what I also found out is that a lot of bodybuilders tend to be shorter guys. Now, I'm not a tall person by any means, but at 5'10", my next closest competitor was like 5'5", 5'6", but at the same weight. So all that weight, all that muscle is compacted down into a smaller frame, so they just look like fire plugs. They just, I got beat up in that show. But it was a learning experience. I took everything positive that I could out of it, and it really enhanced my focus to, continue to stay a natural athlete. I used the loss as fuel for the fire, so it just got me back in the gym and training harder, even though I was never going to get to that point where, I was actually going to be sticking needles into myself or anything like that. Again, I just did it for the enjoyment. But yeah, that was the anniversary of that event, and like I said, 20 years. It's amazing how fast that time goes. So yeah, June 16th, that was the 20th anniversary. Next up, a lot of individuals, particularly patients that I work with. I'm also a physical therapist and an exercise rehab therapist. They knew that for a time I had expanded my horizons, and I started working at another chiropractic office doing the same thing, physical therapy, exercise rehab therapy. And it was not at all what I assumed that it would be. Here are some of the issues that I had. I perform physical therapy and exercise rehab therapy the same way that I approach personal training when I'm working with a client, whether it be weight loss or athletic performance or injury, whatever the case might be. So I actually customize what I do. It's very individualized to the person. I need to find out exactly what the ailment is. If it's a back issue, well, where's the back issue? Is it lumbar spine? Is it thoracic? Is it cervical? Is it a neck range of motion limitation? Is it a knee issue? Plantar fasciitis? What's going on? So I need to know exactly what the ailment is, and then I design a treatment plan based off of that. The facility that I was with, very cookie cutter. Give them this, this, and this, regardless. And that did not make a lot of sense to me. I'm used to spending time with patients. I'm used to making sure that they're getting the form is there, that they're performing the right amount of repetitions, that they're pausing at a certain part, that they're focused on their flexion and dorsiflexion, and all those things that go along with proper physical therapy. So a lot of the things that I do that would be considered extra in that case was frowned upon. So if I'm going through and utilizing a different process, say rapid release or myofascial release or whatever the case might be, no, we don't do that for free. we charge for that. That's extra. Well, in my mind, this is something that's going to benefit the patient. They're already here. I need to do, in order to perform my job, I have to do what I need to make sure that that person is getting healed and is able to perform and function optimally based on what their needs are. So it was just a horrible fit. And I found that out, made every effort, but I'm just not into a factory kind of conveyor belt kind of process when it comes to treating patients. Every patient is individualized, and that treatment plan has to be customized. So it was just a really bad fit. But the benefit that I took out of it, it reinforced my belief in what I do and how I approach working with clients. It let me know that I was doing the right thing. And it also showed me some of the ways that the healthcare system is really off track, and how it's more of a money-making, money-generating machine as opposed to an entity that is meant to enhance the health and lives of individuals. It's all about how much is the cash register ringing, and that didn't sit well with me. So that was the cause for the separation. Another benefit that I got out of it, I took a hard look at a lot of these things that these processes that this facility, and I'm not going to name it. A lot of you individuals already know that are familiar with me, but I took a lot of the processes that I saw that were just mismatched in terms of taking advantage of patients and not delivering the right amount of care, and I built that into a seminar workshop topic. And I've been working on it for months, and I submitted it out. And one of the benefits that I found out just a few weeks ago, that my proposal to present that had been accepted, and I'm going to actually be doing an international presentation of that topic. And it's basically about the ways that the healthcare system is not designed to take care of individuals, and the way that individuals that come in for treatment and care are really just looked at in terms of dollar signs. So that is some of the, that's one of the things that I went through, and that's why I'm no longer with that facility. And I wanted to share that with you. Again, my goal is always to be as transparent as possible. Next up, newfound motivation. We all need motivation from time to time. And, it's inevitable that we hit stumbling blocks, that we come up to, when it comes to fitness and training and trying to lose weight or trying to gain muscle or whatever the case might be, we hit these stumbling blocks. We run into a brick wall sometimes, and it's hard to break through that. In those cases, a lot of times what we need to do is to focus on changing the scenery, the environment, the approach. Are you following the same kind of routine, training session after training session, week after week, month after month? And the body stagnates, and your progress does as well. That's no different for me, despite the fact that I'm in the industry and I've been doing this for 21 plus years, and I run into those same brick walls. So I really went back to my roots. I've never been a person that has been a fan of the big box gyms, and I'm not going to name any of them, but you know what they are. I came up, I learned my craft, I got to where I am now, in these little hole-in-the-wall, dumpy places, right? No frills, just equipment and space and maybe a fan and that sort of thing. I just like that. I like the old school kind of facility, and you don't find a lot of those anymore. So that's kind of the problem. Well, I happened to find one, and I started going back there, and it just reinvigorated me, and it got me to the point where I was energized and excited about getting to the gym again. And it just took that change of scenery. And a lot of times that might be a stumbling block that you've run into that you can circumvent by taking the same approach. So if you're doing the same things, if you're training in the same places, if you're utilizing the same regimen over and over, switch some things up. Give it if you do chest, if you're used to doing chest on Monday, and that's a typical plan that you see for individuals that are in gyms and that sort of thing. So Monday usually got people doing chest. Well, you don't have to do. There's no rule that says that you have to work chest muscles on Monday. Switch it to a Saturday. just little things like that that can aid in allowing you to reach peak performance. So just focus on that, making some changes, and see where it takes you. You might be surprised at what you find. Next up, Tuesday, October 12th, just a couple weeks ago, I was honored to have been the commencement speaker for Advocate South Suburban Hospital's Diabetic Prevention Program. This is the first, and I've done a lot of speaking engagements in my time. This is the first time I'd ever been asked to deliver a commencement speech, and it was an honor. I had a chance to work with the program administrator. Her name is Darlene Paris, and she invited me out. We've worked together before, and really to make note and celebrate the accomplishment of these individuals that have gone through this program. And it's a long-term program. And these are people that are on the cusp of developing diabetes, or they may have it. And they go through coursework, and they go through exercise plans, and they go through meal planning, and they have to document activity levels and how they're eating, and just all this. They have to monitor their A1C levels, and they have targets that they have to hit. It's a very involved program. And it goes, she's got another class coming up, and I'm going to present some information. In fact, I'm going to have her on the show. But it was really humbling to see what these people had gone through and what they had put into making sure that they're as healthy as possible. They made the determination that they were not going to be stagnated by the condition of diabetes, and they were going to do everything in their power to make sure that they reversed that condition. And I mean, we had one individual that has gone through the program. She lost 45 pounds. We had other people that have dropped their A1C levels from a 13 to a 6. I mean, it's just really significant stuff. So it was an honor to have done that, and I really appreciated it, and looking forward to participating more with both Advocate South Suburban Hospital and the Diabetic Prevention Program as well. Last up, in terms of what's new with the Fitness Guru, I have fallen in love with a brand new toy. And I'm a big fan of fitness equipment for a lot of different reasons. Number one, it allows me to approach training from a whole different perspective. I like to engage myself by utilizing new things, new exercises, new movements, and focusing on mastering them. So this is one that I ran across. So I knew an individual that was getting rid of a lot of equipment. She was in the process of moving, and I saw this, and I asked her about it. And she said, yeah, that's, I got it, used it maybe 3-4 times, I really don't want it. You can have it. I said, no, I don't want to just, yeah, please take it. So I gave her money for it. She didn't want it. But this has been a really cool thing. I actually keep it in my office because it's so portable and it's multifunctional. So this is called a resistance bar band. So basically what it is, you've got two poles that connect. They extend out, lock in place. You've got foam handles. I'm going to hold it up to the camera so you can get a better angle of it. It's got foam handles that you can grip onto, right? Here are attachments, and then there are elastic bands that attach to the sides of each. Now, the nice thing, these are interchangeable. I have thicker bands that I can attach to that to make the exercise a little more challenging and that sort of thing. But I just want to show you just a few that you can use this resistance band bar for. So the first one, I'm going to perform just a basic deadlift. So I'm laying my bands across the floor, just in a crisscross kind of a pattern, and I'm stepping on them. I'm grabbing my foam handle. So if I want to perform a deadlift, and I'm going to back up just enough so you can actually see it, just like I had a regular bar that's loaded with plates on it, I'm going to drop into that squat position. I'm getting some good resistance, and I stand with it. Slightly lean back to engage the lumbar spine, drop into my squat, back up, and the bands provide that natural resistance. If I want to perform a front squat, I would take a same kind of a positioning with the feet. I'm going to back up. I'm going to bring the bar up, which is going to provide natural resistance. I'm going to fold my arms, bring them out in front of me. Now I drop into my squat and stand with it. Again, the bands are providing natural resistance. Easier as I drop down, obviously, because the tension comes off the bands, and more resistance as I stand. Perfect. Next one. Bicep curl. Let's say I want to work my arms, biceps. grab my handles, I'm curling the bar up under control. Now the nice thing about it is the bands provide instability. So I have to concentrate on keeping that movement even, because the bar kind of wants to do this, right? I have to force control. So that allows me to make sure that I'm maintaining proper form at all times. The next one is a chest press. So I want to work my pectoral muscles, right? I attached a couple of carabiner clips to either side, right? So I'm going to bring it across and link it. Quick snap. And you can get these from any hardware store. Now this is additional from the actual piece of equipment, but these are cheap. They were maybe 79 cents a piece or whatever. So I've attached it, so now the bands form a half arc. I'm going to take that arc, bring it across, and drop it just below the shoulder blades. Now I can lean against the wall because I got the equipment in the back. I'm not going to do that. But from here, I'm going to extend out until the arms come out at full extension. Turn them to the side. I'm performing a chest movement. So again, this thing, and that's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the types of movements that you can use this for. But again, the resistance bar band, if you want more information about them, or perhaps some more exercises, shoot me an email, or you can leave a note in the comment section, and I would be happy to give you more info on that. All right, moving on. Ask the Guru. So this is the segment where actual viewers or page fans or followers will actually submit questions, and I address them. So I picked 5 that I wanted to share with you today. The first one comes from Kimberly G., and she is from Deer Grove, Illinois. Her question to me was, what are your favorite exercises for toned abs? My favorite exercises for ab work: hanging knee raises, decline crunches, supported crunches, spine leg raises, and also side bends. And the reason I addressed all those because they address all the primary abdominal muscles: rectus abdominis, oblique muscles. That's where the side bends come in. They're very challenging, very easy to do. Proper form is required, and it really is effective in terms of developing that, if you're trying to get a six-pack or if you're just trying to burn body fat, whatever the case might be. So those are my primary exercises for developing abs. Again, if you want information on how to perform those, maybe I'll do some videos and that, link them up. I usually put those on YouTube. So again, hanging knee raises, decline crunches, supported crunches, spine leg raises, and side bends are my top exercises for training abdominals. Benjamin S., and he is from Sacramento, California. I hate drinking water. Are there any healthy alternatives I can turn to? And there are. Now, I want to promote the fact that there is really no replacement for just good old-fashioned plain water. But if for whatever reason you don't like water because of the taste, or maybe you don't have a good source of water where you are, maybe it's got a weird taste, I don't know what the case might be. But water is always best. But in that instance, if you don't like it, here are some suggestions that I offer. Seltzer or bubbly water-based drinks, things like carbonated water, club soda, those are good. You can also add fresh or frozen fruit chunks to that water to give it a little bit of flavor. You could even try squeezing some fruit juice into that water. That gives a nice boost in terms of flavoring. You can add a splash of 100% fruit juice. Now, you got to keep in mind when I mentioned 100% fruit juice for a reason. A lot of times fruit juices are loaded with sugars and byproducts and that sort of thing. 100% fruit juice is what you want to focus on. You can add that to your water to give it a little bit of flavor. You can turn to fruits and vegetables for your water sources if you like. Vegetables and fruits are mostly comprised of water. And here's a quiz question for you. What vegetable do you think has the highest water content? I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you said cucumbers, you are absolutely right. Cucumbers contain 95% water in terms of their water content. Those are followed by things like cantaloupe and watermelon, strawberries, tomatoes. These are all fruits that contain and vegetables that contain high amounts of water. So that's an option that you can look to. Some soups, clear or broth-based, either hot or cold. Just make sure that you pay attention, particularly to the sodium content of the soups that you're utilizing. Coffee and tea. Now, you need to be careful about the consumption of coffee and or tea because they're both mild diuretics. Basically means that they can result in the body losing water, so it's a dehydrating component. However, in small amounts, maybe a cup or two a day, you should be fine with that. You just want to make sure that you're not overdoing it because as being a diuretic, they can result in a certain level of dehydration. Dairy and milk alternatives are some options, so low-fat or 0% low-fat milk, almond milk, coconut milk, soy milk. These are all variable options that you can look at in terms of replacing your distaste for water and still making sure that you're hydrated properly. So those are just some suggestions for you, Benjamin. Next question, Louis H. from Whitestown, Indiana writes, free weights or machine weights? So I'm assuming he wanted to know which was preferred by me. Well, now, for those of you that might not be familiar, free weights are basically things like dumbbells or barbells. Those are considered to be free weights. Machine weights are exactly as the name implies. So maybe a leg press machine or a leg extension or a hyperextension bench, things like that. Those are all considered to be machine weights. In my experience, my preference is to utilize a combination of both. Actually, what I use, particularly when I was training for competitions, I used a threefold kind of approach. Machine weights, free weights, body weight exercises. Now, I didn't mention the body weight exercise, and those are just things like prisoner squats or planks or push-ups, things like that that don't require any additional equipment. Your equipment actually is your body. So I like a combination of all because they work together well in establishing a well-balanced physique. So that's my approach to it. So if I was looking at, I would never say, you only need to do one because you don't. It's a combination of those items. Diane M. from Chicago, Illinois. What are your thoughts on resistance training pants? And I got to be totally honest with you. Other than knowing that resistance training pants are basically fabric that's constructed with resistance bands that run through the fabric so that it provides natural resistance as you walk, squat, whatever the case might be. I really have no direct experience utilizing those or wearing those, although I do have a client that I am working with, and she's a personal training client. She uses those resistance training pants. She says they've been very effective for her, provided that you use them on a regular basis. So she did add that caveat to it. And then the final question comes from Lamont W. from Nashville, Ohio. Do you have a favorite fitness-themed television program? And it's very curious that you asked that question because particularly during the pandemic, there wasn't a whole lot you can do. So I actually started watching more television than I normally do. And I got hooked on this show called Strong. It airs on Netflix, and it's a competition-based fitness challenge where you pair up an individual with a trainer, and they all compete against each other. So you have a purple team, a blue team, a red team, and they're all going head-to-head with these different competitions. I thought it's fascinating. So the show, again, is called Strong, and you can find it on Netflix. So those are my Ask the Fitness Guru questions. Next up, Vanguard word of the week, and that word of the week is lactic acid. So a lot of you may have heard the term lactic acid. What actually is it? Lactic acid also goes by the name of lactate. So it's basically a byproduct of what's considered to be anaerobic respiration. So that is the process by which cells utilize oxygen for energy in the absence of oxygen. So it's a naturally occurring event that happens in the body. Now, the thing about lactic acid, it's gotten kind of a bad rep. It's been associated with what's called or known as DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle soreness. So it's basically you go through a workout and maybe the day after or 2 days after you're really sore, you're hurting your arms, hurt to raise, you know, it hurts to sit down because your hamstrings are burning, your quads are tight, all that sort of thing. Well, that's been associated with, that's lactic acid buildup. That's not actually the case. Lactic acid is more associated with when you're actively working out. And let's say you're doing bicep curls, right? You got dumbbells or a barbell and you start to feel that burning sensation. You might have heard the term before, feel the burn. That's actually lactic acid. And that's building up in the muscle, creating that burning sensation. So that's what lactic acid is and how it affects us as we train and afterwards as well. So lactic acid is the word of the week. Next up, I wanted to talk about I found it was very appropriate for the time of year. We've got Halloween coming up, fast approaching. And I want to talk about the benefits because, you know, Halloween, one of the things you immediately think about, you know, after costumes and monsters and all that sort of thing is candy, all right? So are there any health benefits to candy? Well, there could possibly be, but it's a specific type of candy. What I want to talk a little bit about is dark chocolate and the positive effects that it has. Now, again, this is not milk chocolate or any other type. I'm talking about dark chocolate, all right? It has several health benefits, and I wanted to show some of those and how you can integrate that so you can, you know, give yourself a little bit of a treat, kind of satisfy that sweet tooth, and not do a lot of damage in terms of ruining your fitness regimen, your diet, whatever the case might be. Now, you have to remember that chocolate is, in and of itself, high in fat, so you don't want to overconsume it. But a little bit at a time, maybe an ounce and a half, that sort of thing, you're fine with that. So some of those benefits, dark chocolate is actually good for your heart. Okay? There have been a lot of studies that have shown that dark chocolate can actually reduce blood pressure. It improves blood flow. It helps to prevent the formation of blood clots. Eating dark chocolate can also be associated with reducing hardening of the arteries, which is arteriosclerosis. So that's something to consider when you're talking about dark chocolate. It's a nice benefit to it. It's good for your brain, and it can help to improve cognitive function, so your ability to focus and problem solve and that sort of thing. It can also help to reduce your risk of stroke. Okay? It also contains something called PEA. That's basically the same chemical that is released in your brain when you feel like you're falling in love. And that's why people can get addicted to chocolate because of the hormone that's released when you consume it. It can help to control blood sugar as well. So if you're dealing with, say, type 2 diabetes, and I was talking about that earlier when I mentioned the diabetic prevention program. So the consumption of that, because of the flavonoids that are included in it, it helps to reduce insulin levels. So that can help you to moderate your blood sugar and help the cells to function normally and enhance the body's ability to actually process and utilize its own naturally occurring insulin levels. So that's another nice benefit that you can get from the consumption of dark chocolate. A couple more. A lot of antioxidants in dark chocolate. Those help the body to maintain the levels of what are called or known as free radicals. These are items or cells or cellular functions or interactions that can actually damage the cells through oxidation. So when you're consuming dark chocolate, that helps to regulate that. Dark chocolate, and that has actually been shown to enhance or strengthen tooth enamel. So which is really weird, right? You think, I eat candy, I'm going to be rotting my teeth. Well, theobromine actually strengthens tooth enamel, so that's a nice little benefit. And then finally, dark chocolate is high in vitamins and minerals. Which ones to be exact? Potassium, copper, magnesium, and iron. Those are the 4 primary factors that you find in dark chocolate. So those are some great benefits that you can find. Now, how does that actually affect the body? So copper and potassium can help to prevent against stroke and cardiovascular ailments. Iron in chocolate helps to prevent iron deficiency and anemia. And then finally, magnesium can help in reducing the occurrence of type 2 diabetes. So dark chocolate, should not be demonized. When eaten in moderation, can provide some significant health benefits. next story in terms of fitness in the news, and I know there are a lot of Marvel movie fans out there. Right now, Marvel is just the big boy on the block. They put out a movie, everybody's going to see it, right? So the next one that's coming up is called The Eternals. And Eternals, there's an actor that I've followed for quite a while, I like his body of work. His name is Kumail Nanjiani. And I'm going to hold this picture up. And he basically really got ripped and transformed his body for his role in The Eternals. So that's kind of how he's looking. He's put in a lot of work, obviously. And, it really caught my eye because in the films that I've seen him in before, he wasn't out of shape, but he wasn't, muscular by any means at all. So it really kind of caught my eye. So the actual story is, here's how Kumail Nanjiani got ripped for Marvel's Eternals movie. The Silicon Valley actor surprised the world with a superhero body, but it took hard work and the right fuel to get him there. So I'm not going to go through the entire article, just some components in here. When he posted his pictures on Instagram, a lot of people were like, wow, what did he do? That's an amazing transformation. He looks like a totally different person. And what I wanted to point out, because there's a lot of misconceptions about that. People just think, well, he must be taking some miracle drug or whatever the case might be, or maybe his body is just naturally designed to pack on muscle, and that's not the case at all. The article goes on to read that muscular celebrities are a regular fixture these days, with the likes of Chris Hemsworth and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson regularly sharing workout routines and building superhuman muscle in preparation for their latest projects. So he posted this picture, and it states that the post was met, and this is a post that he put up with himself shirtless, showing his transformed body, right? The post was met with acclaim, surprise, and many likes as news of the actor's transformation spread around the world. Now here's what I highlighted out of that. He worked with trainer Grant Roberts for 9 months before traveling to London to shoot the movie, which is due to hit screens on November 5th, 2021. That's an important key. Now, this is an actor. Actors are, their whole existence is to look good and prepare for the next movie role. So he had 9 months to really dedicate nothing more than, maybe learning his lines and training. And, he's Marvel Studios, I'm sure they provided him with an excellent chef. So everything is taken care of for him. He still has to put in the work. You don't get transformed like that by accident. He actually, put in the sweat and the blood and the tears and all the effort that's required to make that kind of a transformation. Now, is that to say that regular folk can't do the same thing? Yes, you can. It just requires a different level of dedication and effort. Because most of us have regular jobs we have to go to. We don't have 9 months to dedicate exclusively toward working out and training. If we did, everybody would be looking great, right? So it really comes down to making sure that you're setting for yourself the right kind of schedule, the right kind of exercise regimen and routine. You got to make sure that that diet is on point, and you got to stick to it. You have to know that there are going to be obstacles that come up. There are going to be times where you just are off track. You're having a bad day. You don't feel like working out. You don't feel like cooking and preparing your own meals. You're tempted because maybe your coworker brought in pizza for the day. Maybe you got that urge for that Pepsi. Maybe you just want to take a weekend off, whatever the case might be. All these things are going to come up on you, and you have to be ready for them. But that's not to say that you can't transform yourself as well. He just has the advantage of being an actor. And actors have, especially A-list actors, have the opportunity to put forth a different level of effort in terms of time dedication and that sort of thing in terms of transforming their bodies. You can do the same thing again, so don't look at it like, well, that's impossible for me. You can do it. You just have to approach it a different way. All right. So having said that, I want to move on to my next topic, which is, and let me get my list here together for what I wanted to address with you. And that is my fitness tip of the week. I always like to include a fitness tip. So my fitness tip for the week this time out is to become a habit stacker. What exactly is a habit stacker? What does that mean? You want to identify one thing that you do every day. identify that one thing, whatever it is that you do without fail every day, right? You want to attach a new positive habit so that it becomes second nature. So you're stacking a new positive habit onto that habit that you always do every day. So let me give you an example. Because stacking, what it does, it helps to trigger behavior and builds healthy habits long term. So an example, you want to sip 1 8-ounce cup of water after you get dressed. Okay, everybody gets stressed out. Unless you're just having a bum day where you're just in bed all day. But let's, for example, you get dressed every day to go to work, to do whatever it is that you do. When you associate that activity level with one positive thing, let's say you want to increase your water intake, right? So once I get dressed, I'm going to consume an 8-ounce glass of water, okay? Another one might be, after dinner, I'm going to go for a 20-minute walk. Everybody eats dinner for the most part, so when you're attaching that regular habit to something new, and that is stacking. So it helps you to build these positive habits, and you're just associating with something that's very mundane that you do anyway. So it's not like you're going out of your way, you're just taking one or two simple things and stacking them on top of each other. Become a habit stacker. Okay, I hope that helps you out. Now, very exciting part of the show for me. I have a very special guest, so I'm kicking off the return with a very dynamic individual. We had the opportunity to meet through a mutual friend, and this was several months ago. And I found out about her, and I was told that she was a baker, and she was a very skilled one. And her expertise was that she would actually make these treats, and they were all vegan-based. So there were no animal byproducts or anything like that in them. They were all natural. She makes all these things by hand. And I said, I'm not a vegan, so let me make that clear. So a little bit skeptical, and I knew the products were, I had no doubt that they were going to be good. I just didn't know if it was going to be for me, because it's not, the way that I eat. So we made contact with each other. We decided to meet up. She was going to bring me some of her products, because I told her I'd love to have her on the show. So she brought them, and I want you to try these out, is what she told me, and just see what you think, and give me an honest review. I have not reviewed or revealed that review yet, but she did give me some samples, and I had a chance to talk to them, to try them out, and to make a long story short, if they were bad products, I wouldn't have this next guest on with me at all. So I'd like to bring on to the show, the Vanguard Fitness Hour, Miss Jacinta Teague, also known as the Vegan Treat Lady. So come on in and let's have a conversation. And she is all masked up for us, and because that's always important. Make sure that you wear your masks, okay? Whether you're vaccinated, whether you're not vaccinated, that's always advisable. Okay, so make sure you got that. I got mine here with me. So in an effort to welcome my guest, I'm going to put mine back on. Yeah. But I've been tested, she's been vaccinated, so we're all good. So just wearing that to promote the fact that it's very important to mask up. All right? Cool. Jacinta, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm just going to get settled. And this has been a long time coming. We actually, like I said, we met a while ago, and I had a chance to try out your products, and I was very excited to do so. And I wanted to have you on earlier, and then the pandemic really just blew out of control. Yes. So that really sidetracked our efforts, but I'm really glad that you're here today. I appreciate you coming out.
I am so elated to be here. It has taken a long time to get here.
It has, but we made it, right?
Yes.
So we're here now. So I got the Vegan Treat Lady here, and so I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. I've got a lot of questions that I wanted to address. So I'm just going to run out and just go through them right now, and I just want us to have a conversation about it. So the first thing, when our mutual friend kind of put us in contact with each other, she mentioned that, her name is Jacinta. She goes by the name the Vegan Treat Lady. Yes. So I'm like, the Vegan Treat Lady? It's a simple name. However, it's effective in describing exactly what it is that you do. I really wanted to know why you decided to select that name as something that represents not just you, but also the company.
Great question. So we went through several names.
Okay.
And my daughter and I came up with that name in the end. But growing up, I don't know if you had one of these. Every neighborhood that I remember had a treat lady, right? You can go there after school, You can get you some penny candy,
Yeah.
you know, get your bag of chips or something like that. And that just really stuck in my mind. So in playing with figuring out a name, I was like, the treat ladies.
Okay.
The vegan treat lady. Because like my desserts are, they give you like a down south kind of like hometown feel, like the pound cake and the chocolate chip cookies and you know things like that. So
getting
that was
hungry
the
listening
spin.
about this.
That's why we put a little spin on it, the vegan treat lady.
I like it. Okay, I was real curious about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to hazard a guess and assume that you yourself are a vegetarian. And if that is the case, how long have you been a vegetarian? If not, what motivated you to make the switch to either become a vegan or to actually start making vegan-based treats? Why not? You mentioned the treat lady in the neighborhood. Now in my neighborhood, the treat lady made. They were packed with sugar.
Right.
It was all the stuff that
Right.
we weren't supposed to be having. That's why
Right.
everybody flocked to her. So what made you decide to go that route? Let's take the first part of that question. Are you a vegetarian or a vegan?
Full disclosure,
Okay.
I am not.
You're
a
not.
vegan.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Not saying that in a way that I'm discouraging it or anything like that, but everyone does assume because I make vegan desserts that I'm a vegan. Now, I am what I consider a pescatarian. So the majority of everything that I eat is plant-based or vegetarian or vegan.
Okay.
I made the switch or shifted into that lifestyle about 2 years ago. So if I do want or crave some type of meat, then I will only eat fish.
Got
So
it.
that's the definition of a pescatarian. But it's really few and far between. I would probably say 80% of what I eat is probably, 85% is more vegan vegetarian.
Okay.
So plant-based.
Gotcha. So you were already on that path. Is that why you decided that my treats, that the items that I bake, are going to be vegan as well? I mean, did you ever entertain, I'm just going to make regular treats?
Well, I always did. I've
Okay.
been baking now and cooking over 30 years.
Oh, wow.
My grandmother, my mother, my aunties, I used to have this little wooden stool where I would stand at the kitchen, counter and cook and stuff like that. What ultimately started to happen was I was going to dinner. So I had a mentor,
Okay.
Maurice Turner. He has been vegan now going on 4 years. And he was trying to introduce it to me, and we would be going to restaurants and different places, and the food was disgusting. It was like really nasty because it wasn't what I was used to,
Okay.
right?
Gotcha.
And so afterwards, I was like, well, maybe if I had a dessert, it would balance it out. And then there were never any desserts.
Oh.
So it was like, why are there no vegan desserts? I see all these vegan restaurants or vegetarian restaurants, but no vegan desserts. So that sparked in my mind, like, there's a need for this.
Okay. You're filling a niche in the
I'm
market.
filling a niche in the
Which makes
market.
sense.
Yeah. So that was the other thing that kind of pushed me. Even more so, my daughter was born with a severe dairy allergy that we had no idea about. She literally almost died. So whenever she would eat dairy, it would create polyps in her colon, and she would bleed out.
Now, wait. No. Okay. Let me back up for a moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm not getting too personal.
No, go for it.
That sounds more extreme than
Oh, yeah.
typical lactose intolerance.
Absolutely. She was severely allergic to dairy. We had no idea.
Wow.
So, giving her little stuff like milk, or if I cooked that night, macaroni and cheese, or it could have been cornbread that I put milk in. And she would be screaming in agony, 1 year old, and I'm like, what's wrong? And we took her to the ER, and she had bruising on her body, and they thought that we were abusing our child.
You could actually see the
It
bruising
was
externally.
bruising externally, but that was
Wow.
blood that was pooling in her body, and she was, excreting blood
Wow.
from different orifices. And so they called the police on us and wanted to take us to jail for child abuse.
Oh,
It was
my God.
crazy. And because I worked in the medical field, I was able to get to one of the pediatricians, and they tested her and found out she had a severe dairy allergy that could have killed her if we had kept giving her dairy. So for a very long time, she couldn't eat what typical kids and, when you think about treats and cupcakes and cookies. So I always promised her when she was younger, you know what, I'm going to create a cookbook for you, or we're going to create these recipes. And again, that was the other determination for the vegan treat lady, a promise that I made to my daughter.
Wow. That's very inspiring. I like that.
It's my baby.
So, let me ask you this. So you came up in the kitchen and learning how to
Yes.
bake and that. You passing that along to, and your daughter's name is?
Elena.
Elena. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
Elena.
Is she kind of following your footsteps a little bit, or?
Oh, she can cook her butt off.
Really? Okay.
She cooks me dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a next generation of
Yes.
vegan treat lady coming up.
Well, I don't know about the vegan part.
But at least she has those cooking skills. So
She
that's
has
important.
she has cooking skills down pat.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Let's dive a little deeper now. So assume I'm an alien. I just landed on this planet for the first time.
Got it.
I have absolutely no idea what the concept of vegan is, or what a vegan product is, or how a vegan dessert is prepared.
Perfect.
What does that mean? What does that look like?
So this is a great question. And again, I still have to give this disclaimer because somebody that is a full vegan will be like, well, she doesn't have the right to discuss veganism.
Okay.
Okay, fine. But in layman's terms, a vegan food or a product is free from the most common allergens. So you're talking about dairy, meat, fish, nuts, well, no, not nuts, eggs.
Okay.
Anything my mentor taught me. Vegan food is anything that doesn't have a mother.
Ah.
It's the simplest way that I was taught.
Okay.
So if it doesn't have a mother, it's vegan.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
As far as preparing, I'll be honest, it took some time to convert recipes as far as baking from the normal non-vegan, butter, milk, things of that nature, to non-vegan, because the consistency and texture of like a vegan butter, because it's made from plants, is different than butter that comes from a cow.
How so? Is it the consistency? Is
Oh,
it
absolutely.
thicker or thinner or a different color or what?
It's kind of sort of all of that. It bakes differently. It breaks down differently.
Huh.
Yeah. I found when looking for different products, like the vegan butter that I use is more like an oil. Even though I can get it in a stick, it's more like an oil when it breaks down. Where, well, you know how butter is, it's more, I don't know, the binding is different.
Emulsification.
Emulsification.
That's it.
It's
Okay.
different.
All right, gotcha.
Yes. Using the milk that I use, which is ironically called Ripple, like the drink.
Ripple. Now, who was that used to drink? Was that Fred Sanford or was that James Evans?
I think all of them.
One of them like Ripple a lot.
Yes. So the plant-based milk that I use is called Ripple.
Okay, I'm sorry for some of you younger viewers probably have no idea what I was talking about.
Right.
Used to be a show called Good Times, another one called Sanford and Son, and they both like this drink called Ripple, or at least one of them did. I can't remember which one, but
Alcohol.
I digress. Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
But it's actually made from peas.
Really?
Yes. And so that's, oh my God, I just told a secret. Don't you tell anybody my secret.
Delete.
But I use that milk because there are tons of people who may be still vegan or vegetarian but can't have nuts. So I couldn't use almond milk.
Okay.
So I just say this to say it's various products, but they bind differently as opposed to like a cow's milk when you are using it to bake.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is a really good time to allow me to interject my review of your product, right?
I finally get this review.
And this is a while ago, but I mean, I remember like it was yesterday. So she delivers these
kept the bags.
samples. Yes, I did. I kept the bags. So she delivered these products, and I believe I know I got chocolate chip, and I think the other one was it oatmeal?
Might have been oatmeal raisin.
It might have been oatmeal raisin.
Yeah.
So they came in these packets, and again, I mean, I was, I'll give it a shot. I don't, it's not like I eat vegan products on a regular basis or anything like that, but I said I was going to try it. And I think that's one of the things that skeptics may kind of struggle with. Vegan, it's not going to taste good. It's not going to have flavor. It's going to be bland, whatever the case might be. So I got these things home, and I said, I'm going to give them a shot. And, I mean, I was amazed. It didn't taste any different from the cookies that, that taste memory that I had in my head of what a chocolate chip cookie should taste like, or what an oatmeal raisin cookie should taste like. And I'm thinking, I don't know what kind of voodoo she put into these cookies, but these things are really good. I mean, they were, first of all, they were fresh. She had just made them that morning. They were just loaded with flavor. I was shaking the bag. I wish there was some more in here, but they were absolutely delicious, and I was amazed. And I'm not just saying this because you're here on the show.
Well,
honestly, I was going to prepare you. I mean, if I thought it was something that wasn't for me, I would have told you. But I was really pleasantly surprised at the taste and the quality of your product.
Thank you.
And I know what you make and what you create goes well beyond just cookies.
Yes.
But from what I had and what I've seen, I followed you on Instagram, and she's going to give out her contact information for social media and that. But if you look at some of these desserts, I mean, they're beautiful. And I thought it was a really high quality product, and I shared them with some family members. And in fact, I got a couple orders ready. When you're ready to go, I've got one. She is looking to get some of your product for her book club members.
Okay.
And another just wants to have some for herself and to share with some of her coworkers.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
And that's just the start of it. So
Awesome.
I'm really happy to promote that and to give my honest review.
Yeah.
It's an excellent product, and I was very happy with it.
Well,
So,
thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Now, you talked a little bit about, how you started the company and your connection with your daughter.
Yes.
And how you were brought up in kind of that setting where cooking was promoted and they shared this is how you make this and brought you into the kitchen. You weren't one of those kids that was shooed out of the kitchen like, get out of here, I'm busy.
Nope.
I'm cooking. So you were invited in.
Absolutely.
Have you always enjoyed it though? Because a lot of time, and the analogy I can use is like with sports. Like I've always been a big fan of baseball. And when my son started to get, I shared that with him. I didn't force him into it. He just naturally gravitated to it. He liked it.
Right.
Was that the same? Did you ever reach a point where, you didn't really, I don't like, I feel like it's a chore? Or is it just something that you just enjoy, relaxes you or just makes you, put you in a certain mood? How do you approach that when it comes to baking?
Anyone who knows me knows that I love to cook. Again, I've always done both cooking and baking, but now I'm doing more baking. So to answer your question originally, no, baking was not my zhuzh. I could do it, and I enjoy doing it, but because I don't like sweets, I wasn't cooking sweets.
Wait a minute, hold on. I don't know if you all heard what I just heard, but it almost sounded like she said she didn't enjoy sweets. Now, this is a woman that makes these fantastic desserts that are just bursting and popping with flavor. And you said you don't eat sweets.
I don't eat sweets.
So you don't get tempted in the kitchen when you got that, when you smell that coming out of the oven or whatever the case might be. It's not like, I gotta try some of that.
What is that called? I think it's called so. I'm making up a word.
Okay, that's all right.
I become nose deaf. That's really not what I'm trying to say, but somebody in the medical field is going to correct me. So my senses in smelling, they're dead. So I don't smell. So when I first started baking, I was like, oh my God, this smells so good.
Yeah.
But after continuously doing it over and over and over, they became like deadened. My senses became like deadened. So I don't crave it like that. Now, yes, in the beginning, because I'm a semi-perfectionist, I wanted to taste everything. So if I liked it, then I could have somebody else taste it. But after maybe 3 weeks,
that was it. Huh?
That was it. My body can't do the sweets. Like I just absolutely, I might eat sweets maybe 3 to 4 times a year. So like I make peach cobbler for people throughout the year.
Now, is that a vegan product also?
Yeah. Peach cobbler, apple pie, and I'll have like one of the kids taste it or something. You know what I mean? Like I can't. It becomes too much for me. So again, going back to your question, like I've always loved to cook. I used to throw huge parties, and I would get up at like 6 in the morning and cook from 6 to like 5, and I'd have 40, 50 people in the house, and I would have cooked everything, baked the desserts, cooked everything. So it's always been a passion of mine. I love cooking.
That kind of makes sense because I know people that are in the restaurant industry, and I asked, I said, man, I'm surprised you don't weigh 500 pounds being around all this food.
Yeah.
and they're just, I see it so much, and I
Exactly.
smell it so much,
Exactly.
and it's just not what I do. I'm not into. So I get that. That does make sense.
Yep.
So with you not being a sweet eater, where do you get these ideas for your desserts?
My mother and my grandmother.
Really? So
And I have an aunt that is in Las Vegas, my Auntie Zella. So growing up,
Hi, Auntie Zella.
Auntie Zella Webb, oh my God, she is my boo. I used to go over there, and she's a baker. Like, my Auntie Zella is a baker.
Okay.
And she used to make this 7-Up cake. Oh my God. Oh my God. And so, again, between her, my grandmother, and my mother, in my mind, I wanted, again, being a niche, I wanted it to reflect who I was as a person.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, our culture, and the ability to do exactly what you said. No one can tell that my products are vegan. I did not want it to be the stereotypical, forgive me, I'm not gonna name any names, where I've gone to places or a store and bought something vegan and it tastes like grass and dirt. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So with my recipes, I really took recipes from my grandmother, my mother, my aunts. I have another aunt, my Auntie Yvonne. She bakes. She makes homemade ice cream. So I thought of these things, and I had to now figure out what the ingredients were, vegan equivalent to dairy equivalent.
I got you.
And that wasn't easy.
I bet.
Because like one stick of dairy butter is not the same equivalent as one stick.
Oh, so you got to get ratios and measurements and all that is
what I can use
modified.
as far as baking powder and baking soda with the dairy, that's not the same equivalent with vegan. It's just not. It doesn't bind the same.
So that was a lot of hit or miss experimental things in the kitchen and that.
Frustration, wanting to give up. I was done. Yeah, it was a lot.
But you pushed through.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you did, because you got an outstanding product.
Thank you.
So next, I was watching one of your pages, right?
Okay.
And I saw you were baking. I think it was a large order.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of event it was. But as part of that, I was really looking at the variety of items that you had prepared for whatever this event was.
Okay.
And I know that you create your own desserts and some things that you just wouldn't standardly see at some restaurant or whatever the case might be. Have you ever created something and gone through the process, got your measurements and your ratios, and you pop it in the oven and it comes out and it looks great, and you taste it and just like, you know what, this is like the opposite of good?
Two things. I tried shortbread cookies. And let me tell you how crazy this was.
Okay.
When I tell you everybody loved those cookies, they loved them.
Your shortbread cookies.
I thought they were disgusting.
Really?
They were horrible to me. So I took them off the menu. To the point where people were like, hey, I saw you had shortbread, and I was like, absolutely not. They were horrible to me.
But everybody else liked them.
They were horrible to me.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Now this so this just flies in and if you think about it, I mean, it almost flies in the face of when you think about the fundamentals of consumerism, right?
Right.
Customer likes something, you just make more and more and more of them until they stop buying. You, because it didn't meet your threshold for this is a superior product.
Yep.
I'm not going to offer it, despite the fact that you had people giving you all kinds of positive feedback. Was that even a difficult decision to make?
No, because the other product was brownies. So I tried 2 types of brownies. When I tell you that people were going insane over these brownies, I thought they were disgusting.
Really?
They were not baking properly. They were not crusting right. But I did some samples. Into these samples and was passing them out. When I tell you I got all types of calls, emails, messages, hey, we wanted, and I was like, absolutely not. And I think it was more for me because my other products, my lemon pound cake, my blueberry lemon pound cake, my banana nut, it was so seamless and seamless, right? And so my mind says, since I'm the baker, I have to make this as easy as possible. Those shortbread cookies and those brownies took forever.
Really?
And they weren't right to me. So I couldn't take the chance of guessing or, you know, the possibility of, okay, this one day I'm going to make a good batch. I needed a sound recipe that I was like, okay, I can do this and move on to the next thing. I couldn't do that with those.
Really?
One time I did the shortbreads, they came out one way. The next time I did the shortbreads, they came out a different way. It was too much.
Have you given any thought to revisiting, creating,
Not right now.
recreating one of those products?
Probably the brownies.
Probably the brownies. Okay.
Definitely probably the brownies,
Okay.
especially now that it's fall and, you know, people like warm things. So that's been in my mind. How do I redo the brownie? But those shortbreads,
It's a done deal.
it's probably a done deal.
Okay, so folks, we got something to look forward to. She's going to make another attempt at these brownies.
Yes.
And put those
Yes.
back on the menu, so
Yes.
we'll have something that we can go to.
Yes.
I actually love brownies.
Okay.
They don't love me back.
Okay.
But we're talking about a different type of product.
Yes.
So cool. That
Yes.
sounds good. All right. So that's a perfect lead into the next question I want to ask
Okay.
you about. Of the objections that I hear when it comes to vegan-based products,
Mhm.
and I got a great one when I put up the post about your appearance here on the show.
Okay.
And really good friend of mine. He, liked the post and,
Okay.
and that, and he left a comment. And you know who you are, buddy. He left a comment, because I had a picture of myself holding up this shirt, actually. Another picture of you,
Okay.
and then a picture of a huge spread of your desserts. It came off your Instagram page, right?
Okay.
And his comment was, "Man, you had me all excited
Oh, I saw that.
until I read the caption." And the caption basically described the fact that these are vegan-based products.
Okay.
So in his mind, it's just, that's not going to be for me. That's not
Okay.
something that's, going to have. It's going to be bland. It's going to be flavorless. That sort of thing. It's not going to be like a regular muffin or cookie or whatever
Right.
the case might be. How do you address that? Because I'm sure you run into people that, yeah, it looks good, but vegan, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be for me.
I'm honest and transparent. I give my honesty, and my honesty is his reality.
Okay.
Again, like I mentioned before, a lot of things that I tasted coming from a non-vegan viewpoint, it was nasty. Like it was very commercialized to me. It just seemed like something that was, and please, again, this is just my thoughts and opinions. There
Okay.
are some vegan bakers out there that are insane, phenomenal, but that's the point. From what people are used to with vegan products, let's say 10, 15, 20 years ago, if there were even really vegan products available outside of your normal fruits, vegetables, things of that nature, to today, there's a myriad of products that are available now in stores, right?
Right.
There are different seasonings, there are different recipes and things, because people are now experimenting with different things. There's always good and bad in anything. So a person that can say, I want to be a vegan, and they go out to a grocery store and buy, let's say, $300 worth of everything they see in the case, in the frozen section.
Mm-hmm.
While, yes, those products are vegan, and they may be good, it still has processed material in it.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the frozen section, because in order for an item to
Exactly.
be in a frozen section,
It has
preserved.
some
Shelf
type of
life is
preservative.
important.
Exactly.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you're not eating good, but it's still, there's always a good and bad balance.
Okay.
So to him, I would say, like I say to everyone else, you have to be open-minded, and you have to give it a try, right? A lot of the products that I have today, my daughter just turned 15. When I was trying to start these recipes back when she was a baby, none of this stuff was available, just being honest. Or if it was, it wasn't in my neighborhood.
Right, I got you.
You know what I
I got
mean?
you.
So now there's not a store you go into today that's not a vegan section
Mhm.
or a plant-based section.
Right.
And I'm talking about, you have vegan Thousand Island dressing, you have vegan barbecue sauce, you have, you name it, it's there. So nowadays there's really no excuse just to experiment. Even if you just started with like a simple
Okay.
salad and got you some vegan salad dressing, you probably could not tell the difference.
So you can use that as kind of your lead-in.
As
to-
your lead-in. Don't just jump into it. Like, don't go from having a T-bone steak with some shrimp laid on top with some Parmesan cheese, and that's tomorrow. You want to just eat oysters. Not oysters, I'm sorry, like mushrooms and
Right.
carrots. Like, Don't do that.
Don't go overboard.
Don't go overboard with it.
The same rule applies
Yes.
with when I work with clients all the time and people that are getting started in fitness, and they just go from 0 to 100. I'm going to be in the gym every day for 3 hours, and they burn out.
Yes.
So I can really see
Yes.
some similarities in terms of those two approaches.
Yes.
That's a really good lead in, because you mentioned grocery stores and products that you can find on shelves that are vegan based. When I post things like your appearance on the show, and I really open the lines of communication because I want to get feedback as I prepare questions that I want to address with you and that sort of thing. And one of the things that I found particularly interesting were the comments that I got about budgets. So, and what I meant by budgets is, I can't remember it word for, well, actually I did, I jotted it down.
Okay.
This came from a page follower who stated, and I quote, "I don't have the budget to eat like a vegan. It's too damn expensive." So my question is, are vegan food products in fact costlier than non-vegan food items?
Okay, so I'm going to give my disclosure again. I am not a 100% vegan, but I do buy a lot of vegan and vegetarian items. Here's the thing that I think has messed people up over maybe the past couple of years with this word vegan, and I'm putting up quotations for a reason.
Okay.
We've probably all eaten vegan our entire lives. If you had a salad, some corn, some cabbage, some rice, oatmeal, people don't really equate those things to being vegan. Oats are from the earth. Cabbage is from the ground. You get what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times people think vegan means something extraordinary or it's its own realm. It's a different. But it's probably a lot of stuff that you've eaten. What you're doing is you're adding things to it. So you can eat that corn on the cob, but you're putting butter on it.
Gotcha.
That's what now takes it from being vegan. Corn is corn. You get what I'm saying?
I get it.
You can make cabbage all day long, but if you put turkey tips in it,
it becomes
non-vegan.
Base. Sure.
So I don't say that in a cavalier, silly way. I think people overthink it a lot of times.
I've never really thought about it that way.
I
So
think
it's like the foundation is there.
The foundation is there. It's just what you're adding to it. In truth. Now again, when you think about it as a whole, let's think about that. So how much is a T-bone steak? Or how much are lamb chops?
Yeah.
Or, how much are pork chops? Even chicken, right?
Yeah.
Those things can be costly. So it just all depends on what you want and how much your health matters to you and where you're trying to go on your path. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Because you can spend a lot just buying meat by itself.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's probably the most, when you go shopping.
Exactly.
That's probably the most costly food item that's going to wind up in your shopping cart.
And then it all depends on where you shop. Most people don't know that. Most people don't think about Aldi's, right? They're like, well, Aldi's is, and this is not a promotion, I'm just giving examples.
Okay.
When most people thought about Aldi's when I was younger, they were like, it was like a cheaper store, right? What people don't know is Aldi's is one of the #1 stores in the country for various reasons. Aldi's has phenomenal products. I'm a wine drinker. I know this is off topic, but this is just an example.
Okay.
Aldi's has some of the #1 wines on the wines list in the country. Most people don't know that.
I didn't know.
So
I knew they carried wine, but I didn't know they were
they have a whole wine section. So I say that to say you can go to Aldi's and go get some of the best produce ever for the low. Where you can go to Whole Foods, which is a great store as well, and get those same products.
And you're going to pay for it.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I got you.
it all depends on what you want. I mean, we're all budgets and savers, so I think people just think too hard about it.
I think so too, and I'm guilty of that myself.
Yeah.
Because that's my assumption too. But when you break it down like that, it makes total sense. The vegan treat lady, is the vegan treat lady a solo entrepreneur kind of an endeavor, or do you have employees? Just kind of curious about that.
Yes, I have employees that don't work.
So you're experiencing the same kind of problem a lot of businesses in the country are right now.
Yes. So the vegan tree lady was supposed to be
Let's make this
started.
adjustment.
Okay. The vegan tree lady was supposed to be started with myself and actually my 3 children. My oldest, who has since left home, but my youngest 2, so my 18-year-old and my 15-year-old. They all own a part of the business, but I'm the only one that works. So
Okay.
Elena and Tristan work when they need to get paid. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Elena loves to do the administrative work.
Okay.
Portion of it.
That's your
Tristan is
15-year-old.
Yes,
Okay.
and Tristan is a huge help. So they work, but they don't work as much as I would like them to work. So yes, it's more so solo.
Okay. I got you. Okay. I totally get it.
Yes.
Okay. I was curious about that.
Yes.
During one of our discussions, leading up to this interview, you gave me a very interesting and candid answer to a question that I asked you about. And that question was basically, you've got this fantastic product.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they not able to be found on store shelves? Is that something that you have, you've managed that, and that's intentional, or is there another reason to it? Why can't I walk into Walmart or Meijer or Whole Foods and find vegan treat lady products?
It's very intentional. It's intentional because I look at my product as I look at myself, and I know that that's not going to make sense, but that reaction that you gave me, the freshness, the fact that you got those desserts, April?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was April or May.
Yeah.
It's October. And that impression is still lasting on you. It is no judgment. It is nothing against anyone else who has a product in the store. But as now a baker and having my baby, right? You know how many times I've walked in the store and I've seen a kiosk and products have been sitting there. I know for a fact because I walked in this store a couple times, and they've been sitting on this kiosk to the point where like the bag is laid over. You can tell that it's expired. You can tell that it's been sitting there forever. Nobody's buying this product. Nobody even knows about this product, and it could be a great product, right? I don't want that.
Okay.
That's why I said I wanted this to be more of like a niche type delicacy. Now, eventually, the pandemic slowed this down, but eventually I'd love to have a location. I don't know if I want it to be a full freaking mortar. I'm still kind of
On the fence about it?
playing with that.
Okay.
I originally wanted a food truck,
Okay.
because I thought that would be cool because then that still allows me to keep it fresh.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Just
And-
try to set up a different location.
Exactly. And then that gets it out. Eventually, maybe having some relationships with stores where they have a certain amount of the product and I basically drop it off to them. But just to be sitting in an aisle or on a stand,
So,
no.
okay, so it's about quality control.
Oh, absolutely.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
I mentioned earlier when you first came on about the circumstances when we initially met,
Yes.
and the delay in terms of getting
Mhm.
you on the show, and then I had the hiatus and that. The pandemic, COVID-19.
Right.
What impact, if any, did it have on your operations?
It changed my life. So it went from a high. It was because of the pandemic that I was able to start the business. So I was laid off on March 1st. And I actually started the business that day.
Okay, all right.
So that
you
was awesome. This is 2020.
Major pivot and shifted, yeah. Okay.
Shifted that day.
Got it.
So that was a high. It actually threw me into full drive, and I was going. Well, March 6th of this year, due to the pandemic, I was on the fence about taking the vaccine, but being in the public, and there are certain vendor events that I would have to attend,
Sure.
things of that nature. I was kind of like, I really didn't want to take the vaccine, but I was like, I want to stay safe, keep my customers safe. I took it on March 6th. Well, from March 6th to March 13th, I was very ill. Every side effect that you can think of
After your vaccine?
after the vaccine, the
Did you-
Pfizer.
That was my next. I was
It was the
going to ask you
first
that.
Pfizer,
Okay.
and I was like really sick, like literally 15 minutes after I took it.
So are we talking? Some people get a sore arm,
No.
or some people a little.
No.
So it's more significant.
I
than
was
that.
sick, chills, sweats, pains, aches, headaches, literally every side effect that they mentioned I got, and I had it from March 6th to March 13th.
Wow.
Couldn't get out the bed. It was horrible. And so I thought that they had subsided. So I was good. I was feeling a little off. But then on March 18th, I began urinating blood.
Ooh.
So I couldn't bake.
Wow.
I couldn't do anything. And that lasted for almost 4 months.
Wow.
So I know you asked about the pandemic, but if it wasn't for the pandemic, I would have had to have taken the vaccine, which ultimately shut my business down. So I haven't baked since March.
Wow.
I've done small things from people that are like customers that are like loyal customers. So if they had an event and I needed to cater something, then I pushed through and did it. But I have not baked really at all this year.
So you haven't gotten back to full-scale operations yet?
Absolutely not.
Wow, that is, well, I guess my first question is, how are you now? And I appreciate you sharing that.
Okay.
And I'm, looking forward to seeing you back at, 100% capacity in terms of, getting back to the business and that. But, look great. How are you feeling now?
It's been hard. It's been very hard because physically, I'm probably at like 40, 45% of my normal self. And it bothers me that I can't do my passion right now, which is bake.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I get a lot of calls and text messages of support, and I love everybody that's been understanding and patient.
Yeah.
But, baking took my mind off of just life, and I can't do that right now.
Okay.
It's very hard and taxing. So,
Gotcha.
But I'm pushing through.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
You're very welcome. And I know all my viewers and followers and page fans and that are pulling for you too, because we want to see those products out there, so we can place our orders. And that leads me to the question in terms of placing orders. Do you do custom orders? So creating a dessert that's maybe not on your regular menu. Okay.
I stay in my lane.
Okay.
I know what I can do.
All right. Okay. I like
I'm
that.
a perfectionist. I do not jump out there and diddle daddle with stuff that I know that I'm not going to be 1,000% spot on for. So no, I don't do anything custom.
Okay. Good. All right.
Nope.
Next question. Now, my company, Vanguard Exercise Management, it's all about health and wellness and fitness, and the purpose of this program is to spread that message of health, wellness, and fitness as much as possible. So my question to you is, where does a vegan treat fit in with the needs of a seriously health-conscious individual, say, for instance, a bodybuilder or an athlete or someone to lose weight? When you think treats, it kind of seems like it flies in the face in terms of being contrary to what someone like that might be looking to do.
I get that question often. And I'm, again, going to be transparent and honest with you. I don't think desserts, period, are in any of them. I don't care whether they're keto or, am I saying keto?
Keto, yeah.
Desserts are desserts. They have sugar in them.
Okay.
Like, I think it's all about moderation, right?
Not like when I was talking about the dark chocolate.
Right,
yeah, sure.
exactly. I don't think desserts, and you can answer to this, I don't think that a dessert will kill you, right? I don't think that it will throw you so far off you eating one cookie. I think it's when you're not eating in moderation and you're not balancing it out. My vegan desserts, again, being plant-based, really the only thing that, I guess the only two things that would be an issue is the sugar.
Okay.
And maybe the wheat from the flour. Other than that, again, everything else is plant-based.
Okay.
My flavorings come from actual fruit. So like my lemon pound cake.
Yeah.
I squeeze lemons. So I'm not using like a
lemon extract or
no extract, no flavoring.
Imitation.
I actually
whatever.
squeeze lemon juice and use pure lemon juice. My blueberry pound cake, I actually puree fresh organic blueberries. My banana nut bread,
Now wait a minute, you're not giving away trade secrets, are you?
Yeah, delete that. Did it again. Scratch that off. You didn't hear that. But I just say that to answer your question. It's like I'm not using the typical extracts and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Vegan. Now, this question is not for me. This is actually from someone that was on the page, the Vanguard Exercise Management Facebook page. Are vegan food products truly healthier than non-vegan ones?
Should I give my disclaimer again about me not being vegan?
Please do.
I'm not vegan. This is my personal opinion.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Okay. All right.
Hands down.
All right. That's a
I
flat
feel like
out.
anything that's from the earth. Look, I'm not gonna get religious, but I'm just gonna make a statement. I hope you don't feel the way you gonna feel. Jehovah put these fruits, vegetables on the earth for a reason. They were created for us to eat them. So I think that's healthier. Anybody who has gotten sick before, and the doctor has said, hey, you need to go on this diet, right?
Right.
And they tell you, cut back on this and eat more of this. Guess what? You start to feel better, right? When you're eating more salads, more veggies, more fruits, you're removing these extra preservatives or these things that you know your body is looking at them as being toxic.
Your diet's becoming cleaner.
It's becoming cleaner, right? So that's why I'm saying, yes, you feel better. Your body appreciates that you're pouring into it healthier things.
Makes
so
sense.
yes, again, this is not a judgmental thing. To each his own. Everybody does what they do, but usually non-vegan things, they don't break down the right way that your body probably needs them to. They do not add to your body what you need for your body to sustain, especially the older we get.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any plans for your operations beyond just desserts?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I actually do now. So I have customers where I make it's a southern fried corn. Oh my God, it's so good. I have vegan cornbread. I make vegan candy yams.
You hearing all this, people?
Yeah, there are quite a few different
Okay.
items
Okay.
that I make that are vegan that I make for particular customers. So yes, eventually, like I said, when I get trying to figure out where I want to move in that direction, I would love to have like a really cute baby style where people can come in and sit and have you a quick little meal, and then have your dessert, drink you some coffee, drink you some wine, and
I like it.
we're getting there.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll be on the lookout for that. Any advice, because there's a lot of particularly young people out there, and this is just the perfect environment for starting a business.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I guess if you're ever going to do it, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of that. So I'm just curious, any advice that you would offer someone that is maybe someone just like you when you were younger, looking to turn their passion for baking into an income-generating business venture? What would you suggest? What would you say to that person?
If you are a spiritual person, pray first.
Okay.
Pray for guidance. Make sure you're not doing this because you're trying to get rich quick, because guess what? That's not going to happen. Just being honest.
Okay.
Make sure that you take your time, right? And do it the right way. Go through the proper channels and steps. You do not want to have to backtrack because it will cost you time and money that you probably will not have. Trust your instinct. So, unfortunately, when I was starting my business, I was speaking to different people that I thought I could trust.
Oh, boy.
That I could not. That were either trying to steal my recipes or that were trying to use me or that were just flat out lying to me about things to discourage me. And I had to listen to that part of my brain that was like, don't listen to that, because you can easily become discouraged, right? So listen to that instinct within you and be confident in yourself. You have this gift. The same thought that made you say, I think I can do this, hold on to that. I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care how frustrating it gets. Hold on to that and just keep going. And you definitely have to have a team. You have to have a team of people that are encouraging you, that are supporting you, and that genuinely want to see you succeed. Absolutely.
I got to ask real quick, those people that you described that were kind of stabbing you in the back, were those people that were close or just...
No.
Okay.
No.
They weren't people that were close to you. All right. Okay.
These are people that actually I looked up to in like the restaurant business or in our community. And when I say community, again, just being transparent, I'm I'm talking about our African American community. These are business owners that I was like, oh my God, I just want to reach out to this person and ask this question and get encouragement. And I was shocked. I was shocked at the way I was done.
I could see why you would be.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you mentioned some things, during the course of our conversation in terms of, future planning and that. So I'm just, what's next up for now? I know you haven't gotten back to full blown baking, So what's next on the horizon for the vegan treat lady? What do you got that you're thinking about doing?
I have affirmed that by next year I will have a retail spot. I am now in the suburbs.
Okay.
And it's a little easier to move in the suburbs than it is in the city.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of red tape, black tape, green tape, white tape, and I ain't got that type of paper. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there.
I get it.
Move a little differently in the suburbs. So that's my game plan, to have a retail space. I have my BA in management, and I would love to figure out a way to get into the schools, high schools and grade schools.
Okay.
To start a program where I talk to the kids about entrepreneurship, businesses, teaching them about how to cook vegan, teaching them about diet and things of that nature. So that lends to partnerships and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Okay. But those are my two affirmations that I've put out there for myself next year.
Well,
the vegan tree lady.
Well, I know that you putting that out there, it's going to happen. So I'll be excited to see it happen. So anything I can do to help promote or whatever, please do. And, like I said, just keep in mind that my packages are empty. So
now I have to refill these packages. Not those exact packages, but I have to bring them some cookies and desserts back.
All right, so next up, we're going to start to wrap up.
Okay.
But I did not want to leave or close this out without you mentioning how folks can actually get in touch with you and reach you. I mean, are you on social media, email, whatever the case might be? Please.
Everything is The Vegan Treat Lady. So Facebook, The Vegan Treat Lady. Instagram, The Vegan Treat Lady. Our website is www.thevegantreatlady.com. What else? The email address, thevegantreatlady at gmail.com. You can place orders at 773-603-1036 or 630-468-0027, I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm doing right now, I do have the strength to do catering orders, so that's larger batches for events and things of that nature.
Oh,
it's getting the smaller batches together, that person that might want just like 2 lemon pound cakes, like 1 peach cobbler, that becomes very hard because I'm baking in batches. There's no way for me to just make 2 lemon pound cakes. So if I'm doing a batch, then that's different.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So if it's all right, what I'd like to do is at the end of the show, post up all your contact information on the social media pages that I manage, so people can make that transition from what they're currently doing to getting some vegan products.
Oh, absolutely.
So that'd be great.
Absolutely.
And one last thing, I would love to have you back on the show. Of course, we'll talk about the vegan treat lady, but your experience with the vaccination and the side effects and how that affected you, and just your thoughts on that, because that's all we're hearing about now.
Yeah.
Get vaccinated, get vaccinated, get vaccinated. So I'd love to hear the side from someone that's actually been through it.
Yes.
And get your thoughts on it. So we'd love to have you back on the show.
I would love to.
And let's talk off the air and pick a date. And I think you'd be a great return guest to have and talk about that topic. It is very relevant.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So with that, you have been. It has been a great time. I've really enjoyed it.
Yes.
We had some great conversation. I hope you all enjoyed your introduction to the Vegan Treat Lady and what she has to offer. And, so like I said, I'm going to post up her her contact information so everyone has an opportunity to reach out to her. And it's been a great time.
And thank you so much for having me on.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
It was totally my pleasure. And like I said, looking forward to having you back. And especially for this kickoff show. So, like I said, after first guest out of the box, and we hit a home run with this one. So
Yes, we
thank
did.
you so much. All right.
Good
I
job.
thought we did. So until next time,
Yes.
remember the Vanguard motto, and that motto is to train hard, eat clean, and stay focused. So until our next show, which is going to be next Friday, and I believe that's the 29th, new topic, new items to share, new information, and looking forward to seeing you there. So until that time, remember to stay, and we'll see you again in a week. All right, so take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye-bye.